3 things to consider before you take out a loan or bring on an investor. You see, having that extra safety net or access to that type of cash flow can be a value add if you're intentional and strategic about it. So let me give you an example. Business that is grossing $300,000 a year, netting $60,000 a year. It could definitely run leaner. And they haven't done all of the due diligence in that area to get it running optimally, okay? If they were to in fact dedicate 90 days or so to do that, they would probably find about $30,000, $40,000 on the table that's being misappropriated. So when that business owner comes to me and says, hey, I just got approved for a line of credit, we really don't need it, which is fact. It's $20,000 and the loan fee is going to be $3,800. What do you think? Well, we have to run it through multiple lenses, right? You cannot just give a cookie cutter answer. So the first thing is, well, what is the duration of the loan? Is it in fact an open line of credit? Is that $3,800 loan fee, does that include the fee, the origination fee, plus the interest? Give me a little more information about it. And what is your intended use for the loan? Is it to cover operating costs on potentially slower times during the year? Or are you going to use it intentionally to scale? And if so, what does that look like? And when I posed all of these questions, there really were no definite answers. So my recommendation, though unpopular at that point, would be no, absolutely not. Do not get the loan. When working with my clients, it's never my intention to be a buzzkill. And at the same token, there are many times when people have taken on additional loans or additional investors and have used that extra cash flow and momentum to really scale quickly, right? Whether it was intentional, whether it was just luck, whether it was opportunity. But the way I like to operate is I like to control what I can control. So should anything go really well or really bad, I can go back to the logic as to why I made that decision in the first place. So as an example, let's just say that this business owner did in fact do their due diligence and got the business running optimally. And like I said, found 30, 40 grand on the table for the year. Well, that was an interest-free loan that was already coming in without doing one more thing. So how awesome is that? But maybe that inspired a new scenario to, in fact, take out the loan because now that they're running more optimally, they're able to do some additional things to enhance the business or the brand. At which point the conversation would look like this. I would say, well, the interest is about $300 a month for the year. So you need to be mindful of that. So not only do you have to have a strategy to get that full 20 grand paid off by the end of the year, but what additional things are you or your business going to do to cover that $300 interest? Because you want to make it worth your while. You want to ensure that you're covering that cost of financing. Because if you're not, well, then technically you're not running optimally and you're taking this money at a loss. You get me? So what you need to understand is this is really no different than what happens in our personal lives, right? So let's say it's getting to the end of the month, our cash flow is getting a little bit low. We know that we're going to be getting income somewhere around the 1st. So we start whipping out the credit card and swiping, right? It makes us a little less intentional and a little less conscious as to the moves we're making because we're comfortable. So in business, I like to be uncomfortable. I like to be uncomfortable to the point where every move that I'm making is strategic and can be justified. And I give you this scenario at the $300,000 a year business, wanting to take out a $20,000 loan. And there may be other motives for that. Maybe they're trying to build credit, etc. Again, all of these reasons need to be vetted, right? Because you want to make sure that the cost is in alignment with the strategy of growth and that also you're not taking on more risk than you want, and also that in doing so, you're not going to fall into bad habits because you have that cushion. So in giving that example, it's really surrounding intention, behavior, strategy, and best practices. When you get to the point where you're at the $10 million a year mark and you have interested investors wanting to infuse cash into your company, and of course they have a laundry list of things, of terms and conditions in order to trade for that cash, you will have already had the experience at the smaller level of vetting through every single line item and doing your due diligence and making the decision that is not only best for the company, but that is also best for you. Because remember, you as the owner of the company are in fact the last say, and you have to live with every single decision that you make. So please don't take on debt or investors lightly. There is a cost for doing so. It is up to you to determine that cost at its worst case scenario should things go awry. So just because you qualify, just because it's on the table, just because you can, doesn't mean you should. Please don't take this decision lightly.